Thank you, everyone. Well, hello. Thank you, everyone, for joining Denver Parks and Recreation's Advisory Board meeting this evening. We appreciate you being here and spending your time with us and sharing your comments and your interest with us. We definitely appreciate hearing from you. We will start our board meeting this evening, as we always do, with our land acknowledgement. And I'd like to call on Florence.
Okay, thank you, Pam. And hello to everybody. Good to see ya. We'd like to start today's meeting by reading a land acknowledgement. Thank you to Denver City Council and to the Denver American Indian Commission for creating this acknowledgement and allowing DPR to use it. Denver Parks and Recreation honors and acknowledges that the land on which we reside is the traditional territory of the Ute, Cheyenne, and Arapaho people. We also recognize the 48 contemporary tribal nations that are historically tied to the land that make up the state of Colorado. We honor elders past, present, and future, and those who have stewarded this land throughout the generations. We also recognize that government, academic, and cultural institutions were founded upon and continue to enact exclusions and erasures of Indigenous peoples. May this acknowledgement demonstrate a commitment to working to dismantle ongoing legacies of oppression and inequities and recognize the current and future contributions of Indigenous communities in Denver. Let us continue to be good stewards of the land and honor our past, both today and into the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much for reading that, Florence. Next, we have our board norms for our advisory board, which will be read by Kate Fritz. Hi, Kate.
My apologies. I'm sorry. I need help.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
My apologies for being late, and I don't have them in front of me.
Pam, you're right here. I have them as part of the.
I got them. Board norms.
Yep.
Be respectful and presume positive intentions. Seek first to understand and then to be understood. Stay focused on topics at hand. Allow space for all to have a voice. Listen without judgment. Live our values of equity and inclusion.
Great. Thank you so much, Kate. Appreciate you. Before we go into our public comments, I just want to state that our chair of the advisory board is unavailable to host our meeting this evening. However, she is with us in the audience. So, Lee, thank you very much for spending your little time out with us anyway. If you can talk, you may. Okay. So we will go ahead and do our approval for the April minutes. Anyone want
moved.
So moved by Francis. Can we get a second on those minutes?
I'll second, Pam.
All right.
Kim.
Were there any comments or any recommended changes that need to be addressed in the minutes? Thanks, Pam. You're welcome, Lee. All right. Thank you. Those minutes will be approved as distributed. Next, we will go into our public comments. And Arthur, I believe we have a number of residents who have concerns that they'd like to share with us this evening. So you may direct.
Yes, we do. Sorry, I'm just running a little bit behind here, but our first public comment tonight is from Lisa Robinson. Lisa, you should be able to unmute yourself and start your camera if you'd so choose.
Oh, it works.
Perfect.
Thank you, Arthur. Thank you,
Hi, Lisa.
Pam. Oh, hello, Pam. Thank you. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Arthur. I'm Lisa Robinson, longtime DPR member, registered disabled, and DPR many years. I've been retaliated against and had my constitutional rights stripped from me against my will, had my rights under ADA violated by DPR. DPR has a history of retaliating against, denying access to elderly, disabled, limited English proficiency, and foreign-born. Arthur will not give me public records, so I filed a Cora denial lawsuit, and Arthur was served May 2nd, 2025. I asked the judge to remove Arthur as a DPR records custodian and also publish a DPR Cora records fee schedule, since Arthur said it took 4 hours to download 1.5 hours of video, an obvious lie. My malicious prosecution is proceeding. Jolon Clark had me arrested in a public lobby because of what I said in the PRAB meeting March 12th, 2025. I have a First Amendment right, and these rights are above any policy or rule. Nothing's higher than the First Amendment, which is the first law written by James Madison when he wrote the U.S. Constitution. I carry these rights with me everywhere, even in PRAB public comment. DPR violates my freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom to petition redress of my government without fear of retaliation. Jolon should not be able to silence me during PRAB public comment. It's a violation of my First Amendment right. PRAB uses the Roberts Rule of Order, but no one seems to want to follow his or her own rules and bylaws. My state senator, Matt Ball, is helping me. Matt is shocked and appalled at the corruption in DPR. Matt told me, Lisa, my office and I are here to support you. Try these things. Let me know if you run into any roadblocks, and I will do what I can to help you. Matt gave me a list of things to try, and I'm finally getting some results. I'm so grateful for Matt's support and thought all of Denver was corrupt, but there are honest public servants in Denver that have integrity and care about the elderly, the disabled, the limited English proficiency, the foreign-born, the minority voice, and that's Matt. I know there are young people who watch these PRAB meetings, and there is real corruption in going into DPR. Many are keen liars, but we are the bosses. The public servants work for us, the taxpayers. They need to treat us with respect, answer our questions, and provide service when we request it. To learn about your rights, watch First Amendment audits, and some good channels are Lackluster, Audit the Audit, and The Civil Rights Attorney. These channels have millions of subscribers, and together we are getting rid of bad cops, corrupt public servants, lying public officials. Bad behavior in government sector is getting better by removing one bad actor at a time. Matt Ball and I are working together, and we will make it better in DPR for the future. Thank you.
Lisa, you did an excellent job. I was watching the clock. I'm like, oh my God.
I timed it, Pam.
You did. Thank you so much. We appreciate your comments. Thank you. Next, Arthur.
Okay, our next speaker is Hong Dang. Hong, you should be able to speak.
Hi. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak. My name is Hong Dang. I live in District 1 in a lovely neighborhood called the Highland. That was quite a public comment to follow, for sure. I've actually heard Lisa Robinson speak at quite a few PRAB public comments and at City Council as well. And I think what strikes me as odd is there are a lot of allegations and it's never clear like what exactly the actions were. And besides the point, that's not really what I wanted to talk about. And I wanted to say that I'm really, really grateful for the park rangers of the city. I've had to interact with quite a few over the course of the last month or so, just from the park rangers were at Bike Fest, and I stopped at their table, and they were such lovely people. They answered my questions and got to learn more about like trees on the Cherry Creek Trail, and that was really lovely. And then recently at Hudson Lake Park, which is a lovely park in Ethmar Park, the Southwest District Supervisor for the park rangers, Regan Carrier. She was absolutely phenomenal. I had called in about a public intoxication issue. It was like 2 p.m. I was hammocking on one side of the park, and there was like drug use and alcohol happening at like a specific like section, and I didn't feel very safe. And it was also only a couple of steps away from the soccer field that I know there are quite a few kids who use, and Regan took care of it like immediately. I called in, and then 5 minutes later, she showed up and she talked to the intoxicated person and was able to get the resolve, and I'm very, very grateful. The other thing that I wanted to make note of is the use of motorized vehicles on our trails. So I've encountered multiple, normally they're teenage boys who are riding gas-powered dirt bikes and motorized vehicles on our trails. I've submitted 311 requests as well as alerted the park rangers of this issue. And they've been very like kind and responsive, and it feels like there's nothing that they could do. And so I hope that we can think and solution and problem solve for how can we ensure that the trails are for pedestrians and bicyclists and mobility device users. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hong Dong. What I failed to mention was that we would like to have all of our public comments held within 3 minutes. So you guys have done an excellent job of staying within that range of time for us. Our next public comment.
Yes, our next public comment is from Judy Lucero. Judy, you can unmute yourself now.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for allowing me to speak to the board as a whole. The reason I'm asking for a public comment is so that, for the past 6 weeks, I've been trying through numerous contacts, trying to get information around the advisory board and policy about what is involved in a name change for an open space in Denver. I've asked a couple of questions. One, which is a very simple question that no one has answered. I haven't gotten any kind of response for 6 weeks from the emails I've sent, follow-up emails I've sent. And so what I'm hoping to do is find out from the advisory board how I actually create a relationship so that I can ask questions that will be responded to. The first question to me seems real simple. And the question was, is the 2017 policy still in effect? And if, is that still in effect? Is the answer yes? Is the answer no? Last night I got my first response, which didn't address that question. The second question happens to do with if that policy is still in effect and it's required to have 300 signatures, how can I ask the board to waive that particular requirement, because the open space I'm speaking about is in a special situation, and the policy that's written, the 2017 policy, doesn't address the situation that's current there. So the answer I have is one, none. I don't know if it's still the 2017 policy that's in effect, and two, all I've been told is that my comments have been sent to the leadership team without any idea what is involved. What I'd like to do is set up some communication channel where I make an inquiry, I ask about that, get information about the policy, and have a response. My goal is to ask the advisory board to at least consider waiving the 300 signature requirement, and I'm prepared to address why that might be necessary or warranted in this particular situation.
Thank you, Judy. What do I say to that? I'm sure that if your request is in writing, we will make sure that that gets forwarded to the appropriate committee, who will respond back to you.
How do I write that? Because I've been writing emails that have not been addressed.
Judy, I'm emailing you. I'll email you right now. I'm sorry that you haven't gotten answers to your questions, but I'll send you an email tonight.
There you go, Judy.
And then, so I can ask those questions and expect a response to actually come back.
He's emailing you right now. Hopefully you get your answers direct.
What district do you live in?
Judy? Okay. That's all right. We've done our service there. Thank you, Arthur. Our next public comment's coming from
Madam Chair. Madam
Yes.
Chair.
I want to acknowledge that I did receive that email, and I imagine that because I did, everybody else did. And with Jolon responding, we should probably get the ball rolling. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
All right, our next public comment is from Cameron Smith. Cameron? Sorry, Cameron, it looks like you're still an attendee. Hold on while this promotes you to a panelist. All right. Cameron, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for letting me speak tonight. I was just coming to speak on behalf of a small group of community volunteers and visitors to the dog park at Berkeley Lake Park to share a growing concern about the lack of shade in the park and to propose a collaborative effort to improve the space for the benefit of both people and pets. And I also live in District 1. Berkeley Dog Park is an essential amenity for families and dog owners in Northwest Denver. It sees hundreds of visitors daily and serves as a beloved gathering spot for exercise, play, and community connection. As one of the few off-leash parks in the area, it plays a unique and important role in our neighborhood. Over the years, Berkeley Dog Park has lost a significant number of its shade trees. The only shade we have now is near the entrance, and it's made the dog park noticeably more uncomfortable and potentially unsafe, especially for the dogs, during Denver's hot summer months. According to the American Veterinary Medical Association, dogs are far more vulnerable to heat-related illness than humans, with symptoms like heat stroke and pat burns occurring quickly and unshaded, overheated surfaces. On sunny days, surface temperatures in dog parks can soar well above 120 degrees, making shade not a luxury, but a health necessity. Let's face it, a huge share of families in Northwest Denver have dogs, and dog parks like Berkeley not only provide a focused space for canine recreation, they help preserve the rest of Denver's park system. Concentrating dog activity in a designated area helps reduce wear and tear on the other parks and minimizes conflicts between users. So making sure our dog parks are safe and comfortable contributes to the longevity and quality of the city's broader green space resources as well. Berkeley Dog Park is the best dog park in Denver, according to the city and according to me, and improvements will contribute to keeping it the best that there is. We're a small but dedicated group of local volunteers who already help with the general maintenance and care of the park, and based on our past experiences with asking our community for support like things like bags for dog waste and cleaning products, we know that the users of the park are willing to fundraise and that we can fundraise within the community for shade improvements as well. This is a neighborhood that cares deeply about Berkeley Dog Park and is ready to step up both financially and in terms of long-term stewardship from the volunteers that already maintain parts of the park on a daily basis, regardless of weather. Really, I'm not sure how the process works, but I'm really just asking to start a relationship with DPR and the volunteers and any potential fundraising we can do, and just basically try to move forward on a project, and I'm looking for the right person to connect with to do that. And I'm confident together we can restore shade to Berkeley Dog Park and make it a safer, more welcoming place for all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cameron. And thank you to you and all the volunteers who do the mild maintenance over there at your dog park. We appreciate that too. Next public comment?
Yes. Next up, we have Kenyon Moon. Kenyon?
Sneakers.
Maybe now you can hear me.
Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay. Sorry, I'm on my phone and I'm learning the buttons. So I have a few different things that I think would be PRAB related, but I'm only going to go to one tonight. Actually, this has been going on in my mind for a while, but I need to bring it up. The last couple of weeks especially, I've been out in a lot of the parks, and I've noticed that the bike rack parking options are very varied, if that makes sense. So some parks have a lot of them, or at least they're in a good location when they're there, and other parks have few or seemingly none, at least that I've observed. And I'm wondering a couple of things. One, is there a database of where all of the racks are in the parks or around the parks? And if there is, can it be visited to provide an update on the inventory? And is there a policy or a procedure or best practices of where to place them within the parks? For example, I was at Bible Park last weekend, and I ended up tying my bike to a signpost because I couldn't find a bike rack, at least not in the part of the park where I needed to be. And today I was at Garland Park, and there was spots for 6 bikes by the playground, but all the sports fields, the multi-use field, the lake, if they're there, I didn't see them. So I guess I'm wondering, how is there some sort of policy or best practices of where bike racks are placed, and do we know where they all are? And if there is such a thing, can it be brought about, brushed up, updated? The reason I bring this up is we're wanting to make a lot of shift for people to do neighborhood travel on bikes, and parks are a really easy way to get a lot of people into that kind of thing. Obviously, somebody may not go to the hardware store for, to build their deck with the bike, but they might go to coffee, they might go to the park, they might go to yoga on their bike. And if the park doesn't have a bike rack, what's your other option? You're either going to drive, or it's a long walk for a lot of people. So I don't think this is a question that can be answered tonight, but I do want to put that worm in your brains, and I'll try to follow up and kind of see where things are, and if this is a project that can be brought off the ground at some point in the near future. That's it for now. Thank you very much, and hopefully we'll chat soon.
Thank you very much, Kenyon.
Oh, and I'm in District 4, but I go all over the city, so if that matters.
Thank you.
Okay, our last public comment tonight is from Jason H., but I do not see Jason in the attendee list, so they may not have made it to the meeting tonight. So, Jason, if you're out there, send me an email and we can try and make that public comment happen later. Thank you. And that's all.
All right, I guess that concludes our public comment section. We want to thank all of the citizens and neighbors for coming out, expressing their interest and concerns, which all of them pretty much are to preserve and improve our parks. We appreciate your input. Okay, we shall move on to our presentation this evening. I believe that's the next item, our capital improvement project update. And I believe is Gordon available?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. And actually, I wonder, is it possible to do the Park Hill one first, or I can switch. I can switch them around if I just have got the wrong one up right now.
All right, they're both in your control. We certainly can.
All right. Thank you.